It's Monday night, and you know what that means. The Jersey First Television Network proudly brings to you the latest edition of Real Talk. And certainly, I am the generational talent in Garden State Media and your leader for trustworthy opinion journalism. That's right, folks. It's the most handsome face that runs the place. It's me, Fernando Uribe. Happy Monday. I want to thank you all for tuning in here from wherever and however you may be doing so on this, the 31st of August, as we're wrapping up the summer. Folks, politics never takes a break here on Jersey First TV. And again, I appreciate you all taking the time to make this certainly a part of your Monday night viewing here on the Jersey First Television Network. And again, to everybody out there, hope you're enjoying really the end of summer. And of course, as you know, obviously, I'm still rocking La Furia Roja. It's a Furia Roja summer to celebrate the FIFA 2026 World Cup champions. You know, the heritage, the blood, La Furia Roja. Team Spain here for the rest of the summer here on Jersey First TV. And again, folks, if you haven't done so already, it takes a few seconds to show your support and really helps the show grow. Always make sure you like us on Facebook. Of course, follow us on Instagram and X. Don't forget to subscribe to Jersey First TV on YouTube. And certainly when you get your podcast on Spotify or SoundCloud, download it, favorite it, and make this a part of your regular listening and viewing on all of your social media platforms. Folks, and I can't say it enough what a privilege it is to be a part of the dream team of independent media here in the state of New Jersey. Folks, that's right. It's always Jersey First TV, rocking and rolling every week here, educating and advocating for the residents here in the great state of New Jersey. Nobody does it better than Jersey First TV. Of course, brand new episodes of Real Talk premiere every Monday. Check your local listings for start times. And of course, brand new episodes of Bridging the Gap with Zachary Dora and Tyler premiere every Thursday. Folks, I can't say enough about all the information we bring you, the best commentary, the best analysis about everything going on in New Jersey politics and more. Folks, it's always here with Jersey First TV. Folks, you want to stick around, jam-packed show today. Obviously, you want to stick around for final thoughts. I have a lot to say about the usual bad actors in New Jersey, and there's no shortage of them, as you can see there. The collage continues to evolve and grow. But when we talk about media and communications and journalism, we think about some of the really bad actors in New Jersey. And let's be honest, we always think about, Uncle Dave. David Cruz, who somehow, for some reason, comms people, ops, whatever, want to think that David Cruz is somehow a good journalist. I mean, what are you smoking? I don't smoke. But you know what? I might want to start doing that and take whatever you're ingesting. But in any event, I'll give you the latest buffoonery by Uncle Dave with his show that nobody really watches. But I'll let you know about a few things that make us laugh when it comes to Uncle Dave. And speak about making us laugh, well, from one really bad journalist to another, we'll talk about Chucky, the Chuckster, Charles Style over there at the Bergen Record via NorthJersey.com. His latest dishonesty is, well, I don't have enough fingers and toes to count the amount of dishonesty that this guy peddles on a regular basis, but the latest one should make you laugh. I know it makes me laugh. It'll make you all laugh as well. And of course, folks, also, if you want to stick around for a special comment on one of the area's best new venues for nightlife, eating, and everything else, want to stick around for Fuego in North Bergen. More on that, definitely, during a special comment. Well, folks, listen, unlike other journalists who don't work year round, I do. And I'm covering politics at a statewide level and at a local level. And of course, we have a lot of important elections coming up this November. Listen, politics never takes a break here in New Jersey. We have a U.S. Senate race up for grabs. We have all 12 House seats up for grabs. We have a lot of local races as well, county commissioner races, council races, mayoral races. But just as important, folks, we have a lot of Board of Ed races all throughout New Jersey. And listen, I'm the one that's always talking about what goes on in our public schools matters for our kids. And you know what? Who better to talk to than one of the most hotly contested races that you'll find anywhere this November? It's right here in Hudson County, folks, in Hudson County's largest city, Jersey City, no less. And it is the Jersey City Board of Education. And there are races for trustee seats there coming up in Jersey City. And you know what? Why not talk to one of the more interesting candidates during this election cycle? Folks, you know her. She's Jersey City's own, and she is a member, obviously, of the Ticket of Leadership That Listens, JC. She's Julietta Vogt, joins us live right now on Real Talk. Julietta, welcome. How are you?
Hello, Fernando. How are you doing?
Good to talk to you. And how's your summer been so far?
My summer's been pretty good. I can't complain. Let's see, I've just gone to the beach, stayed home in Jersey City, didn't travel anywhere, but it's been great.
Well, again, and you are as busy as they always say. And again, it's always a privilege to talk to candidates. As I mentioned during my opening monologue, obviously, people listen. Politics never takes a break in New Jersey. There's always an election every year.
Every year.
There's no off season here. It's almost like it's like the WWE. There's no off, and politics never takes a break. And here in New Jersey, obviously, as I just mentioned, folks, obviously there are national races to talk about, statewide races, county races, but Board of Ed races are just as important because all politics is local.
Yes.
I heard that once, and I think it's great to have someone like you on here. And we'll talk about the rest of your slate in a minute. But certainly, you know, when we think about candidates like yourself, Julietta, we think about the reasons that someone chooses to run. You know, you're born and raised in Jersey City. You're a product of the Jersey City public school system. So who better to look at as a candidate than someone that's been through the system, that's gone through the studies, has gone on to have a very, what I would argue is a very prosperous career that you have engaged in. And certainly, you know, I would argue that this is a great way to sort of give back to your community and engage in public service. But before that, what was your epiphany about wanting to run for school board in Jersey City?
So I think now, for me, I want to be able to give back to my community. I don't want to just sit on the sidelines anymore. There's a lot of contention around the Jersey City School Board, and I want to make sure that parents, educators, teachers, the students, they all have a voice on the board, and I want to be that person. And I feel like now was just the time for me to do that.
So based on that, and again, just, you know, looking at the ticket here, I mean, obviously it's one that really, really stands. Obviously, joining you on Leadership That Listens is Zebedayo Masongo, certainly Fernando Garcia. What a good name for a guy, Fernando. I mean, I got to tell you, parents did a good job there.
Yeah.
Certainly, and Videsh Bahadur, a great slate there with Leadership That Listens. Obviously, folks, make sure you check them out on their Instagram page. That's at Leadership That Listens JC. But before we get to the slate itself, and obviously it's a very diverse group of candidates running together, take us through sort of the motions here and the process, Julietta, about wanting to join forces. And you can run for a school board seat, of course, as a trustee, but obviously want to run as a slate. What brought this group of Avengers together initially?
So we ended up meeting through a mutual friend of all of ours. I actually went to high school with Zeb. Him and I both went to County Prep High School, and him and I had the same friend, and both of us were like, oh, we want to run for school board. So he introduced us to Videsh. Videsh has been a long time member of Jersey City and has been in our community. He also went to Jersey City Public Schools, and he has 30 years of experience in the education system. And then Fernando also has experience with education. So we all just got together and decided that we were going to run together.
I mean, I hate to sort of ask this out loud because having run for state assembly years ago, I mean, I know why I did it. And, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, you're running because, I mean, I would have to make it some sort of educated guess here. You're not happy with the current structure at the Jersey City Board of Education. And certainly, you know, you feel you're going to do a better job. I would argue you are going to do a better job. Again, I don't like to sort of play favorites on the show here, but when I like candidates, I'm not shy about sort of openly endorsing them. And, you know, whether you take this as an endorsement or not, I mean, I've come to know you. You're a really, really smart lady, sharp as a knife, as they say, and really understand the inner workings, not just, you know, of a public school system, but certainly what it takes to run campaigns, the importance of outreach. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's fair to say you're not happy right now with what's going on in the Jersey City Board of Ed. Is that a good deduction on my part?
So I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm not happy, because I don't want to knock the current people that are taking the time to do this. But I do feel that parents and educators and teachers aren't being heard, which is why we chose our slogan, our slate name, Leadership That Listens. And I don't feel like anyone's listening to them, or if they are listening to them, I don't feel like any actions are being taken to address any of their concerns. I feel like we all decide that we want to run because we think we can do a better job than the current people in administration. I do think I can do a better job. I am 100% willing to put in the work to do a great job at this. I know that it is a commitment. It is a personal commitment that you have to, it's a very time consuming commitment
Sure.
to run for school board. So yeah, I do think that
Oh,
I
listen,
can
and
do a better
absolutely,
job.
and I know you're super qualified for it. And I think that one to your point about the premise of the slate itself, and what led to that moniker. Um, listen, you nailed it right on the head. I think a lot of parents reach out to me on this show. They watch this show regularly. Last year during the mayoral race and the council races, they knew I was talking to a lot of what's going on in Jersey City, and I have a good sense of the pulse of Jersey City. And what I get consistently, Julietta, is parents reaching out to me and saying, Fernando, I mean, you've been involved in education for a long time. You work in journalism, you worked in higher ed, work in education now. And you've seen firsthand about whether it's how money's being spent, mismanaged, whatever you want to call it. But the first thing that comes to mind when parents reach out to me is like, Fernando, what is this 1 point something $billion, like B with a B, folks, like Dr. Evil would say, with a billion.
Yeah.
And it's an alarming number. And again, I don't have the data in front of me about what the reading stats are, the math scores, writing, everything else. But a lot of parents have a reason to be concerned about their tax dollars. Obviously, we're hearing about the property tax increase in Jersey City. That's dominating the headlines. But what's also in the headlines is that parents are concerned about the budget at the school board. So, should you get across the finish line in November, and I think you will, and I hope you do. I'll say that openly. What do you want to tackle as soon as you get into office, as soon as you take the oath on the board, and you and the rest of the slate can get on there? What do you really want to tackle early on?
I definitely want to tackle how the budget is allocated. I want to look into it. I'm not saying like I have all of the answers right now, but I would like to make sure that all of our resources, or not, I shouldn't say all of our resources, but a good majority of our resources are going to the classrooms so we can make sure that our students are able to succeed and do great in life.
Now, when we think about looking at the budget, obviously we know that this year, a new governor, school districts all around New Jersey have felt the crunch about, for many years, not to say it was sort of a fallback or like an easy landing, but a lot of school districts used to rely on a lot of aid from Trenton, and that's not the case anymore. The new governor has made it clear that school districts have to, tighten their belt buckles like the state does. And we see it here in Hudson County. A lot of school districts had to lay off some non-tenured teachers. They had to sort of reorganize spending when it comes to school projects, departments, and things of that nature. What are you hearing from people that you're talking to on the campaign trail right now about? Again, you talked about looking at the budget, looking at where you can cut some costs. But at the end of the day, I mean, you look at the Jersey City School District, it's obviously one of the bigger ones in the state, not anywhere near what Newark or New Brunswick or Trenton is, for example, or even Camden. But parents reach out to me all the time, Julian, and say, hey, listen, I mean, these, what are we doing? I mean, can we build more schools? I mean, Jersey City, I mean, it seems like it's overcrowded. What are you hearing when you're knocking on doors and talking to people?
So that's one of the things that I hear too, that people are worried about there not being enough space in any of the schools for all their children, or that there aren't enough programs for their schools. I know a lot of people are concerned about the special education in Jersey City, and that we're not doing a good job with that. And then even exposing kids to opportunities for post-school, like post-secondary school. And those are all different things that I'm hearing.
So when we think about the current structure right now, obviously, I mean, listen, it certainly takes a collaborative effort, not just the local government, the local school board, right? Talking to Trenton, trying to get some money to build more schools. I mean, obviously, that's the easiest solution there. Build more schools. Obviously, we're seeing such an explosion, for example, with the schools of technology. We're seeing other municipalities building new schools. Where I live in Union City, I mean, our state senator and mayor does a great job of getting funding from Trenton. And again, it's not to take a stab at any local or county or state officials when it comes to who represents Jersey City. But, when you talk to parents, Julietta, I mean, obviously the overcrowding is an issue. The abundance or the availability or accessibility for technology, right? We think about, just 6 years ago during COVID, right? We thought about, obviously, remote schooling, making sure that kids had access to Chromebooks or other mobile technology, which is what kids needed during that time. When you're talking to parents now and people that are invested in the school district or even teachers, obviously, aside from looking at the budget, would you also want to tackle not necessarily amenities, but the tools that the educators and staff are going to need that maybe they're not getting now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great thing that we'd have to. I'm sorry. I think that yes, we need to look into make sure that teachers do have all of the tools necessary to make sure that they are equipped to teach the children, to make sure that they're ready to advance to the next grade. But I think that also, I think we need to work with our state officials, our local state officials, and our city government to make sure that we work together to fund all of the resources that we need.
Folks, if you're just joining us live, it's 5:45 here on the East Coast. It takes a few seconds to like, comment, and share, and show your support for fearless independent journalism, which is what you get here with Real Talk on Jersey First TV. And our guest tonight is Julietta Vogt, Jersey City Board of Education trustee candidate running this November under the Leadership That Listens JC slate in Jersey City. Speaking of the slate, folks, looking at it here, obviously, I really like the specificity about each candidate, Julia. Obviously, I like what you put here. Jersey City public school alum, problem solver, public servant, no question there. And everybody else, I really, really like the moniker here. I look at, for example, at Fernando Garcia, educator, strategist, mentor, has worked 10 plus years in education, certainly a college educator, workforce policy strategist, a nonprofit leader, wants to build student opportunity. What really, when you met Fernando, what stood out, aside from everything else I just listed, what stood out about Fernando when you met him and said, you know what, we make a good team, let's do this together?
His experience in being able to, his experience with education and his experience with workforce development. Because if we do want to expose our kids today to different opportunities for once they leave high school to see where they can, what kind of jobs they can secure, that was one thing that really stood out to me about Fernando.
And also standing out on the slate as well, we see Videsh Bahadur here with 30 plus years in education, certainly also a proud parent within the Jersey Public School District, higher education leader, as well as a workforce advocate, building student opportunities. Seems to be sort of a resonating message here with the ticket itself. Again, when you met up with him, you mentioned that you went to, you grew up with him, but obviously a very, very diverse ticket here, very versatile, great resumes all around. What stood out for him?
I didn't grow up with it. I grew up with, I went to high school with Zeb, not Videsh.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah,
it's okay. Sorry. It's okay. What stood out to me about Vid was his experience as well in education. I think that's what our board needs right now, people who are experienced with education, because who else knows better what our schools need than people that have like an educational background.
Along those lines, obviously, also on the ticket, obviously, an attorney, educator, and advocate, Zebediah Masongo, obviously born and raised in Jersey City, former teacher in the classroom, obviously experienced attorney and public servant as well. Very much about youth advocacy. When you look at him as a candidate, and when you look at obviously you as a team, obviously everyone brings certain strengths to the ticket. Obviously, what stands out about him?
Zeb actually also used to be a teacher. So I think he understands best why having quality teachers in our classrooms translates into the future of children. Sure. And make sure that they go in the right direction.
Okay. Now, obviously, this race, I'm sure tomorrow, September 1st, Labor Day is coming up this weekend. Like a lot of Jersey residents, people start paying attention. I mean, not me. I'm paying attention all year.
Yeah.
A lot of New Jersey residents, especially in Jersey City specifically, start paying attention after Labor Day, right? Kids are back in school. People are kind of back to their regular routines at work. The baseball playoffs are coming up. The NFL returns. People are kind of back in their routines and groove, right? So obviously, for a lot of potential voters and residents, they're going to start paying attention now to not just this race, but obviously other races, county commissioner races, other races that are going on, not just also House races, Senate race, things of that nature. But locally, this race is certainly getting a lot of eyeballs on it. The Jersey City Education Association, essentially, like folks, for everyone at home that's not familiar, obviously the NJEA is the preeminent teachers union in New Jersey. Each school district has a chapter which pertains to the New Jersey Education Association. The JCEA has endorsed your slate. What was that conversation like? Because again, listen, they don't have to endorse anybody.
Right.
I'm sure you sat down with them. To take us through the process of sitting down with the leadership there and getting their vote of confidence and subsequently their endorsement.
So we actually, they reached out to us after our petitions were filed. They reached out to all the candidates and they gave us all a questionnaire to answer. There was 12 or 13 questions on the questionnaire. My whole team, we submitted our answers, and then we had a couple conversations with the leadership there, and they just liked the direction that we were going in, so they chose us.
When we think about, I mean, let's be honest. You know, you've worked campaigns before, Julietta, and you know, as you mentioned, obviously, you know, one thing is behind the camera. Now you're on the mic, right?
Yeah, it's very different. It's very different,
right?
Yeah,
certainly. And you know, I don't have to tell you how contentious this can get. It can get very fickle. We know how Jersey City voters can get. We've seen in recent weeks, right, with what's going on at a city level. How do you feel right now about some of the, well, let's be very honest. It's, you know, you're a sports fan, so I think you'll appreciate the terminology.
okay.
It's going to get chippy real soon.
Yeah, for sure. I think it will, but I think my team, I think we're ready for it. We're going to work hard. Our goal is to listen to as many voters, but people who have a stake in this. So your educators, your teachers, your parents. I like campaigning. I'm not afraid to ask tough questions. I'm ready to put in the work, ready to knock on doors, ready to get out there and talk to people and hear what they have to say.
So take us through that mindset, because again, you've worked campaigns before. You've been the operative, right?
Yeah.
And now you're the candidate. Do you think you'll be able to invoke that same poise that you've always demonstrated? And I know you will. But when you're sitting down with the rest of the slate and you're having, you know, the brain trust meetings, right? And maybe sometimes you have those come to Jesus moments when you have to sit down and look at, okay, this is what we're facing. This is what we need to do. We need to do this outreach. We need to do this amount of phone banking, this amount of canvassing. But at the end of the day, it's maintaining that poise, because again, when you're behind the scenes, you know, when the opponents are taking shots at you, it's easy to, you know, I mean, I'm someone that chirps back. So if you're gonna take a shot at me, cool, no problem. I'm Cuban. Like, you want to drop a bomb? Cool. I drop nukes, as you know, so I don't care. However, you have to have a little more poise in this sort of scenario and environment. How do you feel about what's coming? Because again, as we saw last year with the municipal races for mayor and council, I mean, it got ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, often. And, you know,
I think school board races have gotten ugly in the past.
Yeah. And let's be fair too. And again, I'm not going to invoke any names, but what we've seen for some years now is parents who either go to meetings or watch it online and have invoked a lot of objections. They have voiced their disapproval, their displeasure about what's going on at the Board of Ed within the leadership. So I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus per se, but what I'm curious about is, you know, how are you going to feel if certain parents or certain voices in Jersey City are just going to be like, you know what, Julietta, vote. You know what, I'm not sold on her, and I'm going to be cavalier. And sometimes people take liberties, and you know, again, I don't say I have a thin skin. I know you. I know you don't have a thin skin, but it's a very different environment for you now, right?
Right. I mean, I understand that not everyone's going to like me. I know that. People are entitled to their opinions. If some people get a little bit testy, I'll hear them out. But I think everyone should always have respect for someone. Like, we can respectfully argue about anything. But am I worried about anyone like yelling at me in a board meeting or like really getting emotional or anything like that? No. Like you said, I have tough skin. I mean, I'm from Jersey City.
Absolutely. And again, and you know, you've been through the wars, as they say. Like, you've been in the trenches. So
Yeah.
you understand what it takes to win races, how to sort of, again, how to really manage them in a way where you get across the finish line. And
Yeah.
you do have a thick skin. So to that point, if you're going to have opposition or anyone in Jersey City taking jabs at you, I know firsthand that you're almost like Teflon. Like, it's going to bounce off of you. It's almost it's going to be like Neo in the Matrix when all the agents are shooting. All those bullets are just going to fly off. Now, if I decide to make fun of the Giants, that's a different question. I might get on your bad side, right? So
I mean,
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. But seriously, I think it's this sort of environment, unfortunately, invites that level of contentiousness. And to be fair, sometimes it brings out a lot of ugly sides of people, because you would think that you're not doing this because you're bored. You're doing this because you care about Jersey City Public Schools. You don't have to do this, but you're choosing to, right? So, I mean, what's that message going to sound like to doors you're going to knock on, and maybe people are either indifferent or they're kind of undecided? What's the best way you think you're going to be able to get their vote and get across the finish line along with everybody else in the slate?
Well, I genuinely love this city, and I always like to say that this city raised me. I am a product of the Jersey City Public School, and it's corny, but like, if I can die here, I will. Like, I don't ever foresee myself leaving Jersey City. Maybe it's a little bit ridiculous, but I don't. I love it here, and I want to make sure that if I ever have kids, that they can go to this school system as well, and it be a school system where everyone gets to thrive. But other than that, I'm willing to fight for everyone. I'm not afraid to ask tough questions. I'm not afraid to speak my mind, tell anyone hard truths if it needs to be. That's really my main thing.
So when we think about the campaign itself, are you willing to debate the other candidates in this race? Because I think ultimately parents want to hear from the candidates. They want to hear what the vision's going to be for leadership that listens. And I think at the end of the day, obviously, we live in this sort of very remote centric type of world where, listen, having a debate in person is great, but sometimes the space or the time doesn't allow for it. Maybe doing it remotely will suffice. Do you feel confident you and the rest of the slate want to debate the opponents? Do you feel that you're receptive to it? Like, where do you stand on that right now?
So no, I think there should be debates, and historically the school board always has debates. But I know everyone wants to host a forum and everyone wants to host a debate. I think and obviously time doesn't allow for all of us to go to every single forum and every single debate. But yeah, I think we should have a couple.
Now,
not like 10.
No, sure. No, I mean, listen, time doesn't allow for that. You did mention that you have the endorsement of the JECA, and that's very, very important in a race like this. But like anything else, is the slate exploring, because I'm sure candidates, we see it all the time. Julietta, are we at a point where this slate is going to need to solicit some endorsements from municipal officials, county officials, electeds? Where do you feel the slate is right now where, hey, is this something you want to explore, or because it's a board race, we want to keep it really at the local Jersey City Public School level?
That's a great question. I mean, endorsements, they are great, but you still have to work hard and convince the voter yourself that you're the right candidate for the job. If anyone else is willing to endorse us, sure. And I imagine I'm going to talk to some people about it too.
Okay. Well, listen, I mean, that smile can win over a lot of people. So absolutely. Folks, if you're just joining us live right now, it's 5:55 here on the East Coast. We're up just to wrap up here with Jersey City Board of Education trustee candidate Julietta Vogt on the show here. Again, folks, check out their Instagram, Leadership That Listens JC. More URLs are coming with the slate, so stay tuned for that. But drop a follow on their page and make sure you support the slate that's listening to Jersey City residents and parents and teachers and educators. It's Leadership That Listens JC, of course, one of the trustee candidates, Julietta Vogt, joins us live here. We've gotten to know Julietta, the Jersey City girl. We've gotten to know Julietta, the advocate, the public servant. But let's do a quick lightning round to just get to know Julietta, the girl.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So let's just do that here to really get to know you as great as possible here for our audience. Again, folks, like, comment, and share. It takes 5 seconds to show your support for fearless independent media, which is what you get here on Real Talk via Jersey First TV. I know you're a big baseball fan, as am I. Favorite baseball team, and who's your favorite player all time?
New York Yankees. My favorite player, probably Derek Jeter. I feel like that's just a default answer.
Okay, same here, big Yankee fan. Listen, we're entering September 1st tomorrow, Julietta. They're 4.5 games out. A little bit of ground to make up here. They got Tampa coming up next week. Do you think we catch Tampa in the East, or are we going to have to be just set up for the wild card and play Boston in the first round?
I mean, isn't that what we did last year?
Yeah, it's nice to beat up on the Red Sox. It'd be nice.
Yeah,
right. So
it is.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, a lot of injuries. No Aaron Judge, no Giancarlo Stanton, and they're in the thick, really in the thick of the hunt there. So we'll see what happens for sure. Here's a good question for you. I think you know where I'm going with this. 13 days and counting. I'm going to be at that penitentiary-looking building over there on Route 3.
I'll be there too.
As my Dallas Cowboys open the season, who are 14-3 in their last 17 games against the New York Football Giants. New coach, young quarterback learning. Juliette, how do you feel about the New York Giants this year?
I feel like if they can also stay healthy, if Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo can stay healthy and Malik Neighbors, I think we'll do great. I mean, they didn't have a terrible season last year. They just couldn't win.
Well, again, I think that's part of coaching. Obviously, a considerable upgrade in coaching with John Harbaugh. I mean, I hate to sound like Craig Carton from WFAM, but, in recent years, John Harbaugh hasn't really gotten it done with a really good quarterback. So we'll see what happens. Listen, I think you can't discount the Cowboys. They're going to make it a tough game. And let's be honest, because we go to the games, half the ballpark is
Cowboys.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It is. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy. Right. But what do you think there? I think 27-20 Cowboys. What do you say?
I'm going to go with the New York Giants.
Okay.
I think they're going to shock us this year, and they're going to win.
All right. Fair enough. NBA team?
I don't follow the NBA.
Okay. Hockey fan at all?
Not really, but I will watch the Devils. Okay. I'll go to a hockey game, but I don't follow it.
Same here, big Devil fan, but let me tell you, going to Prudential to watch a hockey game is one of the most enjoyable things to do that's still affordable as a sports fan. So, whenever I have a new project, she's got to watch hockey with me. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's how it is. That's how it works.
I will say I did follow the NBA this year, but I didn't watch any of the Knicks playoff games because I had already not watched any while they were winning, and I didn't want to jinx them.
Okay.
So I would like to say you're welcome.
Listen, I'm a bit of the same way. I can be a little superstitious, and Juliette, I'm an old man compared to you, but I can tell you, I mean, I wasn't alive when the Knicks last won a title. Neither were you. And to see the Knicks, to be in downtown Manhattan for that parade.
Yeah, it looked fun.
Never mind the parade. That Saturday night, I remember being in Weehawken and then jumping in an Uber with my cousin and meeting friends at a club in downtown Manhattan at 1 a.m. that Saturday when the Knicks won. I can just tell you, I have never seen New York City like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't get home until 7 a.m. Okay.
Wow,
That just tells you how crazy that night was. And it was an amazing experience to see the Knicks do something that people have been born, they've lived, and they've died and never saw the Knicks win the title. I think it was such a great feel-good moment for the area for sports.
Yeah.
It really, really was. Marvel or DC fan?
Marvel.
Okay. Favorite character?
Iron Man.
Okay. So, listen, Tony Stark is my favorite as well. So, kind of begs the question, how do you feel about Robert Downey Jr. playing Victor Von Doom in Doomsday coming up? Again, I don't want to bore fans being a comic book nerd, but obviously it might be a Tony Stark variant that is Victor Von Doom. So how do you feel about Doomsday coming up in December?
Well, I'm very excited. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have the time, I don't think, to watch every single a movie again to prepare for it. But I am curious to find out if that is exactly what happens, that this is a different variant of Tony Stark.
Yeah, and again, from what I'm reading on Twitter, I mean, we're talking about like a 3-hour movie, so I'm like, I might have to go on Groupon and get one of those like bags to take a pee in the theater. I mean, I can't get up and leave. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Favorite American president and why?
I don't think I have a favorite American president.
Okay. Not to put you on the spot here, but favorite cuisine and favorite restaurant in Jersey City.
Favorite restaurant in Jersey City. That's a tough one. Obviously I like Italian food. I am Italian.
Okay.
If I had to pick my favorite restaurant in Jersey City, I don't know. I want to say maybe it's Laco's because I do like Laco's a lot.
Wow, no, that's a really good choice. Certainly, and the last one here, after a long week, and I'm sure you're going to have them now, starting after September 1st for sure.
Mm-hmm.
When you get home, what are you, a wine girl, glass of scotch, a beer, maybe a cocktail, maybe a espresso martini at home? What's the go-to drink after a long day, Julietta?
I'd say I'd probably have a glass of wine, but right now I'm not drinking when I'm at home. So I'm very focused on running and working out. So I'm cutting back on drinking. But if I didn't, it'd be a glass of wine.
Okay, good stuff there. Well, Julietta, again, I want to thank you for your time. I mean, really, I'm so proud of you doing this. And
thank you.
I've gotten to know you over the years. You're a stand-up young lady. You've been in the trenches. You've been through the wars, as they say, and you know how to win. And I have no doubt you'll get across the finish line, you along with everybody else on your slate. I want to thank you for coming on here. And really, your belief in my brand of what I think is really good journalism, in my opinion. But I appreciate your faith in me. I'll give you the last word here tonight on Real Talk.
Thank you for allowing me to come on your show so people can get to know me a little bit better. And I hope you all will vote for me in November. I'm on the ballot, 7G, and vote for the rest of my team as well.
Folks, you have choices this November when it comes to the Jersey City Board of Education. Guess what? One of them is my guest tonight. She's Julietta Vogt, running as a trustee in the Jersey City Board of Education, along with her slate, Leadership That Listens JC. Make sure you follow them on Instagram. Folks, it takes 2 seconds. Drop a follow, share it, show your support for good candidates that want to listen to Jersey City parents and educators. Again, you have choices this November. She's one of them. Julietta Vogt, our guest tonight here on Real Talk. Julietta, best of luck. We'll talk to you in the campaign trail, and thank you for joining us on Real Talk.
Okay, thanks, Fernando.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Take care. Folks, good stuff there with Julietta Vogt. Again, part of the Leadership That Listens JC slate, running this November. And folks, again, as you know, I've been covering races all throughout New Jersey this election cycle. I've been moderating town halls for U.S. Senate candidates. I'll be doing some town halls for House candidates coming up this September and October over in the 11th Congressional District, as well as down in CD3, as well as in CD12, and also in CD9. So, folks, I'll be all over the state talking to candidates, moderating town halls, but also I'll be keeping an eye on local races, county commissioner seats, and, of course, in Jersey City, folks, very, very hot race within the Jersey City Board of Education. Again, I can't say it enough. Again, folks, this is bringing journalism, so I can have a say. I can play favorites if I want. It's my show. It's my brand. And if I like a candidate or a group of candidates, I'm going to tell you why I like them and why you should help get them across the finish line. And coming up in November, folks, Leadership That Listens, JC. That's a good slate. Okay? Give them your time. Read up on them. It's a very diverse slate. And again, let me just read off here again, as I alluded to with Julietta here today. Obviously, we have attorney Zebediah Masongo on the slate. We also have Fernando Garcia, an educator, someone who's been involved in education for more than a decade. Also, we have Videsh Bahadur, another veteran, as they say, of the Jersey City public school system. Obviously, a proud parent and someone looking to make a difference for students in the Jersey City public schools. And again, folks, you can make sure you check them out there. Leadership That Listens, JC, on Instagram. A great slate coming up this November that, again, as I said, you have options. Leadership that listens. JC is your best option. Check them out. Make sure you help get them across the finish line this November. Folks, it's 6:10 here on the East Coast. Appreciate you making this a part of your Monday night viewing as we're wrapping up the month of August. Looking at some numbers here, folks. Strong numbers once again here on the show. And folks, are you really surprised? Okay. Are you really surprised about numbers at this point? Okay. You have your little Mickey Mouse journalists, your little Mickey Mouse podcast, your little Mickey Mouse traffic, folks. There's nothing Mickey Mouse here. Okay. Forget about the rest there, folks. Every Monday night live, you're watching the best. It's Real Talk here on the Jersey First Television Network. Once again, I want to thank my guest this evening, Julietta Vogt, running in the Jersey City Board of Education trustee race coming up this November. Folks, if you're not registered to vote, please register to vote as soon as you can. And again, show your support for good candidates like Julietta Vogt and leadership that listens, JC. Folks, contentious election season, we'll be covering it here on Real Talk via Jersey First TV. Folks, as I mentioned here, 6:15, actually on the East Coast. Okay, certainly appreciate you making this a part of your Monday night viewing. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, 6 years and counting, asking questions, having conversations, raising hell. Nobody does it better than Real Talk, 6 years and counting here on the Jersey First Television Network. And again, folks, like, comment, and share tonight's episode. It makes an enormous difference in the algorithm, helps the show grow, and it helps show your support for fearless independent journalism, folks. Real independent media, which is what we bring you here on Jersey First TV. Folks, it's time for final thoughts. And, I am never shy about calling out bad actors in New Jersey. Do it all the time, whether it's in higher education, over there, Vogt State University over there in Montclair with, people like Joe Amaditis and Maria Rodriguez, earning big salaries and really just sitting around doing nothing. Or very questionable elected officials like Katie Brennan and Robbie Bala and, Joel Brooks, Chick Efros, Phil Cohen, Joe Quintero. My goodness. I mean, there is no shortage of buffoonery in our New Jersey apparatus. Hey, folks, and you name it, whether it's in higher education, whether it's in media. I mean, I talk about it all the time. Or activists in New Jersey. The usual insufferable types like Caleb Burrell in Jersey City, or Heidi Rosenstein, or Patricia Campos Medina, or Amy Torres, or Antoinette Miles. But folks, the biggest concern I always seem to have is about media and journalism and where we get our information, and quite frankly, who we get it from. Now, I'm not the official watchdog of New Jersey media, but I can tell you that I'm consistent on this show, and I call out the bad actors in media, and there's no shortage of them, as you see there on the collage. Obviously, whether it's Matt Friedman with Politico New Jersey, whether it's Max Pizarro with Insider NJ. I mean, two guys that, let's be honest, make really good money to just sit around doing nothing. Or useless women like Jay Lassiter. Or other useless journalists like Bob Hennelly, Alan Steinberg, Tom Moran. I don't even know if Tom's alive. Who knows? Okay. But folks, when it comes to journalism, makes us all laugh consistently. And let me preface this by saying, because what I like to do on this show, and what I do better than anybody in media in New Jersey, that is a podcaster, that engages in opinion journalism, is calling balls and strikes fairly. Folks, there was a time many years ago where I used to respect David Cruz, a guy who grew up in Hudson County, grew up in Jersey City, right? Rolled up his sleeves, cut his teeth in the business, right? Took the bumps on the road, as they say. Was in the trenches reporting. Again, I'll give credit where it's due. there was a time where I respected David Cruz. There's no question about that. As someone who's still, I wouldn't say relatively new in the business, but folks, let me paint a picture for you. I didn't know what to expect in 2012 when I decided to pursue journalism. Okay. Now, 14 years ago, that was a very, very different time in New Jersey media. We had plenty of print newspapers. Here in Hudson County, we had the Jersey Journal. We had the Hudson Reporter, which are two very viable and prominent print newspapers that we relied on a daily basis. Even at a statewide level, whether it was the Bergen Record, the Star Ledger with NJ via NJ.com. Okay. And when I broke into the business in 2012 via Hudson County TV, and I just posted about this on Instagram recently. Folks, I'm eternally grateful to Hudson County TV, which is now Hudson TV. And I'll always be eternally grateful to Julio Reynoso, the CEO of Hudson County TV. And sure, over the years, we've had our differences and disagreements. But I remember Julio seeing something in me and even saying that to my face. Fernando, I see something in you. You can talk. You're good on a microphone. You got something. Cultivate it. Work on it. And it's going to take you far. Now, how far? Again, that's subjective. And at a time in 2012 where, folks, yes, Facebook was up and running, right? It was only barely 8 years old, right? So they just started in 2004. YouTube was also had just started in 2005. And even 7 years in, was still nowhere near what YouTube is today. You couldn't live stream on YouTube. If you wanted to upload videos, you had to do that. You had to take the video, edit it, and then upload it to YouTube. Okay. There was no live streaming on Facebook yet. There was no Facebook Live. There was no Instagram Live. There was no live on Twitter or YouTube yet. No, folks. And even though we were, again, still conveying information and getting into a digital age of media, it was still in its infancy. Now, 14 years later, obviously, we've seen many different apparatuses, not just social media. We have platforms like StreamYard, which is what you're watching on tonight. And for the longest time, I would look at someone like David Cruz, who, again, cut his teeth in the business, and I can respect. But, folks, there comes a time when you kind of have to stay true to yourself and not sell out or become a propagandist. And I can tell you, 14 years later, folks, I haven't sold out. I'm my own man. I'm my own boss. Nobody owns me. Okay? Fernando Uribe Media, LLC is its own entity. I'm my own boss, per se. Sure, I have my bosses I answer to at Jersey First TV, and they're great bosses. Rosemary Becky and Ashley Smith, and they're great bosses. Arguably the best bosses I've ever worked for in media. And you're probably thinking, well, sure, Fernando, because they let you get away with whatever you want and say whatever you want. No. It's not about that. They're great bosses because they've allowed me to cultivate my creative juices, as they say. And they've given me creative freedom and creative control with my media brand. And I'm grateful. Now, it might be a lot of things, folks, but I can tell you, in the 14 years I've been doing journalism, I started doing man on the street interviews with Hudson County TV, now Hudson TV. And then progressing into podcasting when I first started talking to Hudson on March 3rd of 2017. And that won, a lot of awards. You can see it behind me. It won me a lot of awards, and it continues to win me awards. And then moving on to Insider NJ with hosting Politically Direct under that platform. And folks, I'm grateful for the years that I worked at Insider NJ. I say it all the time. I'm grateful for Pete O'Neill. I'm not grateful for some of the other assholes on there, like Max Pizarro and Jay Lassiter and Bob Hennelly and Alan Steinberg. Like, I'm not grateful for those douchebags. No. I couldn't care less about those retards. But I'm grateful for Pete O'Neill. He saw something in me also and believed in my brand of journalism. In the time since then, moving on into a more video-based platform. Like everything else, folks, technology evolves. If you would have told me in 2012 I'd be streaming live every Monday night, I would be like, what? You're crazy. But that's the greatness of technology, folks, and the evolution of technology. Having my home studio and coming to you live every Monday, working all year. Unlike other journalists that just sit around at home, they collect a check and just sit on their ass, que son unos huevones. No, not here. Aquí no hay nada huevón aquí. Aquí se trabaja. Aquí es trabajador. This is somebody with a work ethic, folks. Okay? Who works during the day and then works at night, as they say here on with my media brand. Okay? Aquí se trabaja. Okay? I can't speak for everybody else in media in New Jersey. No. Okay? To where I am now today, hosting Real Talk. 6 years in counting. Now back to Uncle Dave. And again, folks, there's a time I respected David Cruz, but what's happened to David in recent years, for many years now, not just recent, many years now, whether it's working under a corporate conglomerate like NJPBS, NJ Spotlight News, I get it. You have bosses to answer to. You can't just go say whatever you want. I get it. I understand. There's some handcuffs when you work in a corporate system. I understand that. Okay. But you can still not lose a sense of who you are. And folks, what's happened to David Cruz in recent years is he's become nothing more than a left-wing peddler of misinformation. Right? And absolutely dying on the worst hills and picking battles that, quite frankly, don't make sense and aren't good for New Jerseyans. Right? And the latest edition of his show that really nobody watches, Press Corps, right? It's sort of like a Timu version of like Reporters Roundtable, which he used to host on NJPBS and NJ Spotlight News. He probably will still be hosting there today. But he decided to be an idiot and call out good journalists like David Wildstein and just be an asshole. Well, we all know what that resulted in. And since then, David Cruz, and to his credit, for a guy that used to shit on podcasters and independent media, well, now he's in the same arena I'm in. La vuelta que da el mundo, huh? Wow. And I'll give him credit. For many years, when he used to be on NJPBS, NJ Spotlight News, you know, as soon as like primary day came or 4th of July, you wouldn't hear from Uncle Dave until the rest of the summer, until the fall. And then, you know, after Thanksgiving, again, another break. You know, having a work ethic isn't something that David Cruz was famous for. Let's be honest about that. But now that he's at home, scratching his ass, not doing anything, I mean, of course, it's nice to see him working during the summer. When was the last time you ever saw David Cruz working during the summer? Es un milagro, porque es un huevón. Let's be honest about David Cruz, bro. Es un vago. Okay? But I'll give you credit. Tú trabajando en June, July, August. Coño, tú trabajando, pero oye, mira eso. Goza. Wow. Okay, I'll give you credit. Doesn't mean you're putting up good programming or good content or that anybody's watching, but again, I'll give you credit. You're working. You know? But as least it's something of Press Corps. Folks, it just made me laugh because I was like, wow. And listen, I like to make fun of myself. I have a good sense of humor. I can make fun of myself. But I have some awareness too, because you're just sort of leaving yourself open. And check out this exchange between, and by the way, nice job there. He's got Brent Johnson there from NJ Advanced Media, a guy who I have out on this show regularly, as well as the others here that he's had over time. Good journalists all around. Maybe not David per se, you know, but certainly when he has someone like Brett Johnson on, the lady from the Jersey City Times, certainly the lady from the Jersey Vindicator, they're good reporters. You know, don't have a bad word to say about them per se. Now, when he has idiots like, you know, Matt Friedman and Charles Style and other douchebags, not so much. But this exchange was really, really funny because it sort of leads me to my bigger point. But check this out.
Yeah.
On its face, a dangerous thing.
And it's not just, I mean, we see that here locally where our mayor does the exact same thing. I mean, his campaign, you know, his spokesperson will go into the comment sections of, you know, influencers on Facebook and dialogue with them directly. Yeah. And so, you know, and there are people who don't see the difference between like a Facebook influencer and, you know, NJ.com or, you know, the New York Times.
It's blurred more than ever. And then we all have to adapt to it, but it's beyond that. It's not just the media adapting to it. It's people adapting to it because, you know, it's muddies the message.
I love how They're all using the Chat GPT graphics, blithely ignoring the graphic designers and artists that they've put out of work.
Folks, wait on this. Wait.
That's bad enough, but they all look the same.
Well, I feel that's
okay.
what the aesthetic of the world is going to be.
Okay, folks, let's unpack this for a second. Okay. I'm all for good humor. Right. I'm all for making fun of yourself, which shows that you have a healthy sense of humor. And I do it all the time. Okay. I got plenty of people that, laugh at me online, make fun of my appearance, say I have a huge forehead, or, oh, I don't have a lot of hair, or my sideburns are too long. I mean, folks, I'm still handsome. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I'm one of the better looking men you're going to see on your TV screen every week. Right. So, but I can deal with, the little jabs in my appearance. That's okay. I also tend to take a look at who it's coming from. And, well, let's be honest, folks. The price I pay for being hated by losers is not being one of them. I mean, it's as simple as that. Right. But this is, folks, this should scare the shit out of you here. For a second, just thinking about, and of course, listen, I've used AI to make promo photos, of course. I don't really use AI, I think, per se, to embellish things. I don't do that. I understand there's a need for it. There's a use for it. Right? But folks, when I saw this, I was like, ay, Dios mío. Could you imagine for a second, folks, if somehow in our, my God, could you imagine for a second, okay, if this was someone on our ballot? Okay. Imagine if there were one running to be governor in 2020, which I thought was pretty interesting, sort of like the moniker there. Like, for example, pot in every kitchen. Again, I don't know if, David Cruz likes to smoke weed. I don't think he needs to. Acuérdate, marijuana te abre el apetito, right? Well, I don't think David Cruz needs to open his appetite if you've seen Uncle Dave. So the idea that, pot in every kitchen, well, that kind of makes sense. He's always thinking about food. But, what I really, the I Like bike, of course, him riding bicycles is kind of, just the thought is pretty entertaining. Now, again, when it says floor more years, folks, while it's a good jab and a good attempt at humor, folks, have you ever had to interact with David Cruz and, see what he's like intellectually? Would it shock you if this retard spelled this way? No, it wouldn't shock me in the least. So when I saw that floor more years, I was like, yeah, that's kind of par on the course for David Cruz. Like, I could see this retard actually spelling this way. I'm not even trying to be mean. Again, if you know about David Cruz, folks, you know the level of retardation we're dealing with here. So the spelling itself, that's not like an oversight. That wouldn't shock me if that actually was a real campaign, flyer. Real talk, real solutions, real New Jersey. Yeah. Okay. Dave, where can I collect my royalties there? If you don't mind, Let's be honest, folks. David Cruz, there's no such thing as real talk with David Cruz. It's here on this show every week, not with David Cruz. But again, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to this. I have to tell you, this made me laugh because I'm just like, perish the thought of this retard ever running for office. My goodness. New Jersey's in a mess already. Like, if David Cruz were ever to run for office and win, ya lo jodimos completamente. Ya New Jersey se jode por completo.
And like, it's rapidly becoming that. You walk down the street, you see it at restaurants, and you see it at sporting events, that weird kind of like cartoony like font and all that, and the pictures. I feel like that's like going to become what the world looks like pretty soon.
AI sees it as all young and beautiful, Crystal.
Are you asking for a comment? Actually, what?
Well, again, folks, we have to get into that, but my God, folks, if anything should scare the shit out of you, just imagine for a second David Cruz running for office. My God. I don't know about you, pero eso me asusta a mí como que, no sé. Just the thought is terrifying. But, when we think about Uncle Dave, we think about things that are terrifying. And from one useless journalist to another. Yes, folks, let's talk about Chucky, Charles Style, all 99 years of him. I was trying to Google it. Like, Charles, when do you celebrate 100 years? It should be soon, right? I mean, I'm hoping, congratulations, When you celebrate the 100, I want to be there. I want to bring you like a bottle of scotch or like a box of cigars. Like, oh yeah, 100 años es bastante. Like, I'm like I really want to support you, man. And folks, the latest buffoonery from Chucky should make you just realize how, again, on the norm, how intellectually dishonest Chucky is. And of course, as you see on his Twitter feed, this is really interesting. USA Today company, of course, your employees demand no slop in our shop, right? So let me just, give you the context here. Now, I'm not sure if you follow the Chuckster on Twitter. I do not, but it was brought to my attention, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. When I read this, I was like, really? Can you have a little less awareness? But nevertheless, let me just read it to you here. Oh, this is really good here. All right. Let's just bear with me here. Oh, here we go. So he recently tweeted out, it brought to my attention, as you can see there, news about humans by humans, not bots or disembodied voices. I stand in solidarity with my human colleagues. News, not slop. Folks, it is absolutely rich to see a Trump derangement syndrome poster child like the Chuckster to talk about no slop in our shop. Folks, all you read from Chuckster is slop. I can't remember reading a good column from Charles Style since, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been that long. I think I used to have more hair. That's how far back we're going. Folks, the audacity. I mean, to say that, and I'll read it to you again. News about humans, by humans, not bots or disembodied voices. I stand in solidarity with my human colleagues. You stand in solidarity for what? To keep peddling bullshit? What do you stand in solidarity with? Please explain it to me. Can you, please? For a guy that is as old as the Chuckster, that has seen New Jersey going down this fiscal abyss that we are living in, the highest property tax in the country. You think Chucky ever gave a shit about that? Of course not. As illustrated by State Assemblyman Paul Kinitra, we are spending more than $7 billion to coddle illegals in New Jersey, folks. Our emergency rooms are overrun. Classroom sizes are overrun with all the anchor babies that we see in our public school districts. All the other services that illegals use up here. You think Chucky would ever talk about that? Of course not. You better talk about how evil the 45th and 47th president is. Never once in the 4 years of Joe Biden, ever once critiquing Sleepy Joe. But somehow Chucky, from his nice little lavish home in Princeton, New Jersey, wants you to believe that he cares about things that matter to New Jersey residents. Folks, it's absolute bullshit. Don't buy it. So when I see the Chuckster talk about no slop in our shop, you mean the slop you've been peddling for God knows how long? Probably longer than I've been alive, Chucky. I mean, it almost makes you wonder, like, do you have any shame at all? Never mind. That's a rhetorical question. Sure, you can stand with your human colleagues, but Chucky, can we be a little intellectually honest here, please? When was the last time Charles Style or David Cruz were ever intellectually honest? Yeah, I don't remember either. And those are my final thoughts. Folks, a special comment here, and let me give a shout out because I do like to shout out restaurants, new restaurants in the area, and let me give you a nice review here of a great new venue in Hudson County, the Fuego Steakhouse and Bar in North Bergen. Now, for those of us that are Hudson County residents and lifers, we grew up driving by the Coach House Diner on Kennedy Boulevard for decades. Now, thanks to new management, new ownership and new management. Folks, Fuego Steakhouse and Bar has become the preeminent restaurant, nightlife destination, and also a great source for dining. I had the chance to frequent the venue in recent weeks, and I can just tell you that, again, congratulations to the new ownership and the management, who've done an outstanding job with just an exceptional menu. Whether it's the lobster bisque, that soup is amazing. Whether it's the grilled octopus, whether it's the grilled salmon, whether it's the plantains with meat slices, whether it's the oysters, folks, you name it. The cocktails, the ambiance, the staff, the music. Folks, if you are looking to check out a new restaurant and you are looking to diversify your palate, as they say, when it comes to food and your taste buds, you will not go wrong with Fuego Steakhouse and Bar in North Bergen. Once again, congratulations to the new ownership and congratulations to my good friend, Jorge Acosta, one of the managers at Fuego Steakhouse and Bar. As you can see there, folks, that bar area, everything's been revamped. A great touch of class, a great touch of style. That's what you see at Fuego Steakhouse and Bar. Now, I've had the pleasure of knowing Jorge Acosta for I think it's about, I've known him since 2013. When I first met him, when he was the manager at Son Cubano in West York. And Jorge Acosta has been one of those veterans that have been in the wars, as they say. He's been in the trenches in nightlife and hospitality and dining. And he's been great everywhere he goes. They've been great establishments. But I can tell you, folks, in North Bergen at Fuego, without question, it's an incredible menu. So I don't know what you're waiting for, whether it's the weekend, whether it's lunch, brunch, whatever it is, a late dinner. Folks, you will not go wrong with Fuego in North Bergen, New Jersey. And for someone that likes to eat, I'm a pretty healthy looking man, as you know. I'm a little gordito. It's okay. I like to eat. It's fine. Folks, the food there is amazing. And for someone that loves grilled octopus as much as me, oh my goodness. You give me a nice grilled octopus, you've won me over. I'm a fan. But folks, again, I can't say it enough. For your nightlife and dining destination, make sure that you make Fuego a regular spot for you here in Hudson County. Once again, congratulations to the new ownership, the new management. Folks, check out Fuego. Make sure you follow them on Facebook. And, of course, follow them on Instagram. Brand new promotions, brand new events. They have flamenco bands. They have a DJ every weekend. Let me tell you, I enjoy my time there. And trust me, at Fuego, you'll enjoy it too. Once again, check out Fuego in North Bergen, New Jersey. Plenty of free parking, plenty of great food, plenty of great people, and most importantly, folks, plenty of great options for your fine dining needs. In Hudson County, you can always rely on Fuego in North Bergen. And that's our show for this week, folks. Here again on the program, I want to thank Julietta Vogt, Jersey City Board of Education trustee candidate, here on the program. And, of course, with her Slate Leadership That Listens, JC. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. Of course, follow us on Instagram and X. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And certainly, whether you get your podcasts on Spotify or SoundCloud, download Jersey First. Favorite, check it out on all of your apparatuses, whether it's your smartphone, tablet, PC, or Mac. Whether you're driving to and from Tiki Mondays there down in Point Pleasant as the summer's wrapping up, whether you're doing some last-minute school shopping for your kids as they move back to campus, or starting in a regular elementary school district, you're probably out and about. You have your phone on you. You have your smartphone. You have your iPad, your tablet, whatever it is you're doing, folks. I'm pretty sure you're looking at something. Make Jersey First TV a part of your regular viewing anywhere at any time. Folks, I can't say it enough there. Really, I mean, again, leading the way here with fearless independent media. It's always Jersey First TV. Of course, brand new episodes of Real Talk premiere every Monday. Of course, check your local listings for start times. And of course, you can check out brand new episodes of Bridging the Gap with Zachary Dora and Tyler Robinson every Thursday. Again, check your local listings for start times via Jersey First TV. And always remember, folks, if it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid, it's always Real Talk here on the Jersey First Television Network. I can't say enough, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, for the best analysis of everything going on in New Jersey politics and more, you can always trust Real Talk here via Jersey First TV. Good night. Paramus, New Jersey, the home of Garden State Plaza, and certainly Paramus Square Mall. And folks, I got to tell you, great shopping. Yeah, it's a little treacherous there on Route 17 or Route 4 when you're trying to get to Paramus, but hey, great shopping, great people there in Paramus in the heart of Bergen County. Always remember, folks, if it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid, it's Real Talk right here with Jersey First TV. And of course, I am the generational talent in Garden State Media, and you're leading for trustworthy opinion journalism. That's right, folks. It's the most handsome face that runs the place. It's me, Fernando Uribe, as always, representing La Furia Roja, los campeones del mundo, the world champions. Spanish football in the house here every week on Real Talk via Jersey First TV. Folks, again, please party responsibly. Enjoy the rest of your week. Happy Labor Day weekend coming up here, folks. Again, please be safe. We'll see you next Monday on Labor Day because we don't take a break, folks. Unlike lazy journalists in New Jersey, I'm not lazy. Yo trabajo. Yo soy un trabajador. But you know that already. See you next Monday night here on Real Talk on Labor Day, folks. Check out the listings for start times. Again, and we'll see you next week. Again, thanks for stopping by. And always remember, stay classy, everyone.